Hey guys, Vas here from Aussie RC Playground and welcome to another unboxing. Today we're going to be looking at the Hobby King Pitbull, which is a 1/18 scale desert buggy. Now I do like my 1/18 scales. I've had a couple of them in the past and they're great fun. They don't have to be super fast to have a lot of fun with them. You don't need a huge area as well to run them, and they're a little bit cheaper to maintain due to the fact that they use much smaller batteries, and of course the batteries themselves are actually quite cheaper to buy. So this is the next addition to my collection. It's the Pitbull, and you can see here on the side of the box how it comes in there. You have the remote, you have the car there with the cage on. That's the color of it. This is what it looks like when the cage is off. A couple of size specs along the side here, and also some more information on the back. Now this does only come in one color as far as I'm aware, but you can get it as a ready to run or as an almost ready to run, so it really depends on whether or not you have a remote handy for it. Now I did get the ready to run this time because I'm very curious about this remote that Hobby King supplied, and I wanted to have a bit of a closer look at it. Alright, so let's crack the box open very quickly. We'll show you how this guy comes in the box. That is what it looks like in there. Now I have removed the zip ties. This does come with two massive zip ties holding it in place. Now of course I've cut them out just to make the unboxing a little bit easier for everybody, just so you don't see me fumbling around trying to cut a couple of zip ties, which is not very entertaining. Alright, so let's get the box out of the way. We'll pop this guy aside. Now this one here contains your remotes, your chargers. Yes, it does come with a charger as well. And there's some more info in here, there's a manual. All right, let's get rid of all this and let's talk about what we see here. I'll take this out of the box, out of the bag, and let's have a look. Okay, this little leaflet here, this is for your ESC. This allows you to do some programming, some basic tuning of the ESC. So there's a bit of information in here, so make sure you hold on to this one. The charger itself does charge up to 3S LiPo, but via the balance ports there. Mine came from the Australian warehouse, so of course it has an Australian plug, which is great. Yours may be a little bit different depending on where you order your car from or from which warehouse you order your car from. The manual here, you have an antenna tube on the back. There are no spare parts, no tools included, and that's the front of the manual there. It's all sealed up. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm pretty sure Hobby King have done their job in providing a useful manual. Alright, so the remote itself, this is the one that I think has impressed me the most out of all the Hobby King cars that I've had as a ready to run in the past. This remote's fantastic. It's definitely a huge step up from that tiny little remote that I got with the Sandstorm. So let's have a look at this guy. Popping the lid off here, you'll find that there's actually 3 channels. So these are your reverse switches up here, and that's your 3-channel switch just over here. Not a very convenient spot for it, but perhaps if you can hook this up to some LED lights or something like that, you do have a 3rd channel there. Binding button, and you do have throttle and points over here, which is very nice to see. So if you do find that the car's a little bit too quick, you can turn your endpoints down and you know, give it to a small child to have a play around with without going into a wall at full speed, which I think is a great thing. On and off switches at the back here. You have a steering dual rate at the front, and then of course you got usual trimmings at the top. Just over here, so very easy. There is a little charge port on the side here, which, you know, if you have rechargeable batteries, you might be able to use that. And the batteries that it takes are for AA's, although I don't believe this tray is removable. I have tried to take it out and it doesn't seem to want to come out. I'm not going to force it in case I break it. Remote feels very comfortable in the hand. The trigger has some nice weight to it. It's nice and thick as well. Steering feels real solid. I'm very impressed with this, and of course you can stand the remote up this way or you can have it laying down this way as well. Very well done, Hobby King. Very happy with this one. Alright, so let's have a look at the car. We'll bring this guy out here. We'll get rid of the remote just for the moment and focus our attention on the buggy. And can I say, this thing looks very, very cool. Now, one thing to note is that after doing a little bit of research, this, I believe, is a rebranded Himoto Baron, I believe, because I've had some, you know, I've seen some pictures on the internet, and it looks to be very much the same car. Obviously, Hobby King have put their own little flavor in it. You know, you got a different body styling. I believe that they're using different electrics from the Baron. That's my understanding, and I think the remote is also different as well. So definitely got that Hobby King flavor to it, which is really nice to see that they've personalized it. Now, tires, I'll show you the tires up close here. they actually feel pretty decent. Don't know how they're going to go with grip on, say, gravel or grass, but I think on tarmac or perhaps some loose dirt, these might actually work well. They do seem to have foam inserts, which is nice, and the rubber is fairly soft as well. So I'm expecting this to be, do pretty well. You can see on your shocks here, you've got aluminium shock caps up the top and a little aluminium shock cap on the bottom. The shocks themselves, wow, this one's really quite bouncy. This one feels really like it's got really thick oil in there, but this one, not so much. Let's check the rear very quickly. Yeah, not too bad. And this one feels empty as well. So I'm probably going to have to check out the shocks straight out off the bat, which is a bit of a shame. Don't know if all of them are going to come like this though. This is just my the one that I got. So yeah, well, I'm going to have to investigate that a little bit and see if there's something wrong there, if they're missing some oil or if they're using different oils in different shocks. Not quite sure what's happened. All right, so let's take the body off. All comes out in one piece, so it's very easy to remove. We'll pop this guy aside. This is what you're going to be greeted with. That is how the car comes. Once you take the top off, you have this kind of like molded cockpit design going on here. And in order to access your battery and everything else, you need to sort of pop this off. And I don't know how long this is going to last though, just popping on and off, but we'll see. And of course you got your receiver here, ESC, on and off switch is right there. It's all, it's very small, it's all a bit cluttered, but probably a couple of zip ties here might tidy this up a little bit. So in order to work on the RC and change your batteries, you kind of have to let this sort of dangle off to the side a bit. You can see here, this is where your antenna goes, which goes through the hole on the kind of mold, plastic mold there. Your battery will get access to this guy by removing one little body pin. This guy pops up like so, and you remove it like that. And then in here there is a piece of foam which you probably can either stick to the underside of the strap, or you can even stick it to the battery itself, just to sort of pack it up and stop it from dancing around. Now I believe that they've included this purely because if you're going to use a thicker battery, it allows you to do so without having to do any modifications. You just have this piece of foam here to hold the stock battery, and then if you run like a 3S or something, you can you can just remove it. Especially if you have it stuck to the battery itself, it's not going to be a problem. All right, so let's move to the battery, and I'll show you what this guy looks like and how it comes. Come on, camera, there we go. All right, so this is a 1500 milliamp, 7.4 volt 2S, 25C, 40C burst, and it's actually a very nice LiPo battery. Thank you very much for including a LiPo with a brushless motor. How about that? Excellent job, Hobby King, on that one. All right, so the motor itself is a 3530 kV. Hopefully you guys can see that. It looks to be about 20 millimeters diameter, maybe 45, 50 mil long. Very tiny servo just over here. There are no adjustable links. These are all plastic, solid plastic links on your camber and toe. It does also use plastic drive shafts, so I'm not sure how this is going to hold up. Hopefully it will be okay. But we'll see. It does have Phillips hardware running all the way through. Spur and pinion seem to be very well sealed back here, so I don't see this being too much of an issue with dirt and debris getting in there. So that's always a good thing, because in some of the other cars that I've had at this scale, spur and pinion are always exposed, and that's not a good thing. Now, one thing I have just noticed as well, the center drive shaft is actually plastic, and you can see that it's actually got a bit of flexibility in there. Hopefully this guy holds up okay, and it doesn't create too much of a twist being that long and being plastic. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it does all right. Now, I did notice as well when I got this that Hobby King have already got an enormous amount of spare parts, and they've also got some upgrades as well. So if you do find that things start to fail on you, you can always upgrade them. And of course, being Hobby King, everything is really nice and cheap and easy to get, which is great. That is, of course, if they have him in stock. Now, it does run ball bearings all the way around. I can see the ball bearings poking out there. Standard hub design, C-hub design at the front and at the rear as well. I'm not sure. This does not run 12mm hexes, so from what I can tell, it looks like a much smaller hex design, if it does have hex at all. So your wheel and tire choices may be a little bit limited. well, there we have it. I think I've pretty much covered everything on this guy. I'll quickly put this top back on, and we'll finish off the video very quickly. This is the Hobby King Pitbull, and I have to say I'm actually, you know, it doesn't look bad for the price that it is, and for what you get. I think the remote is definitely something that I'm very impressed with for the total package. Having the battery in there as well, great thing, and of course you do have a charger to go with that, so you're pretty much ready to go right out of the gate. The only thing you really do need to get is batteries for your remote. These 4AAs are not included, but I don't see that as being a big deal. I think most ready-to-run vehicles nowadays, you know, a lot of them, they call them ready-to-run, they don't even come with a LiPo for the car, so, you know, 4AAs for a remote is not a big deal. I think I'm going to leave it here, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and you know, if you do like it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Hey, if you didn't, you know, don't be shy, give it a thumbs down. It's all good. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I've got plenty more videos coming up, and I've got an extensive library of various different types of videos, aeroplanes, cars. Yet to get into boats, but we'll get there one day. And that is it. Check out the video description for more information on the Pitbull, as well as a link to my Facebook page, and I'll catch you next time.